Hello, boys and girls. It's time to learn another number. So let's learn numbers together. I like to count so that you can figure out what number we're going to practice today. So let's start from 1 and count together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is the number we are going to learn today, and it is called the number 15. 15 looks like this. It is a 1 and a 5 together. First, we need to make the 1 by starting at the top and making a vertical line down. And then we make the number 5 by starting at the top, making a backwards horizontal, vertical line down, and boys and girls like to say, and a big fat belly. And there is the number 15. Take a good look at it and say 15. Good. Okay. It is very important to know what a number looks like using counters. Now, I like to use counters on my video, but if you have something at home that you can count, like cubes or blocks or beans or pennies, you can take them out and you can make 15 counters too. Okay, so I'm going to make my 15 counters. But we can't just make them all disorganized. We need to make them in beautiful, straight rows. And the way that we do that is by using these. What are they called? Tens frames. And I don't think that one tens frame will be enough. How many tens frames do you think I will need to use? 1, 2. Yes, I will need 2 tens frames to make the number 15. Okay, let's start counting with our counters. We always start at the top left and we work our way to the right and then down. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One tens frame is complete. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There we go. And now we have 15 counters. The first tens frame is full. Is the second tens frame full? It's not. It's actually halfway full. If this were a fives frame, it would be full, but it's not. It's a tens frame, and it's only halfway full. Let me show you what that looks like. Here's one tens frame that's full, and another tens frame with only 5 counters in it. Now I'm going to use these 2 parts to make my number sentence. So what is my first number? Think about it. What's the first number? Well, I have to look at my first tens frame. How many counters are in my first tens frame? If it's full, I don't need to count. I know that there's 10 counters. So there's my number 10. Now I'm going to add this part plus this tens frame. How many counters are in this tens frame? You might know by just looking at it. Just looking, you might be able to tell how many, but if you don't know and you need to count, that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counters in my second tens frame. So there's the number 5. Okay, now I'm going to add this tens frame, 10 plus 5. And what is that equal to? If you're not sure, you can count all of the counters, or you can start at 10 because we know this one has 10 and count on. Let's do that. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, our number of the day. And there it is, 15. Can you please go back and read that number sentence with me? Let's do it together. 10 plus 5 equals 15. Great. Okay, let's use those numbers. Let's use those two parts and that whole to make what do you think we're going to make? Number bond. There it is. There's my number bond. My number bond has a big circle for the whole number and two smaller circles for the parts. Okay, so what is my whole number? What's my big number? It's at the end of my number sentence right here. It's the number 15. And how do we make the number 15? What two numbers do we need to make the number 15? Well, here are my two parts right here. It's the 10 and the 5. The 10 and the 5 together make the whole number 15. 15 is 10 and 5. Wow, that was a lot of work. Okay, let's get started on our writing, our paper today. So please take out your paper, a pencil, a notebook, a crayon, whatever you have. If you need to pause the video, you can pause the video now to get your materials and then join me back while I get my piece of paper and pencil. Okay, so here's my paper and my pencil, and I am ready to start working. The first thing I always want you to do is write the number of the day. And what was the number of the day? 15. And we need two numbers to make the number 15. We need a 1 and a 5. A 1 and a 5 make the number 15. So let's make that number 5. In my video, I told you to start with the horizontal line, but I think you're actually supposed to, let's see, start with a small vertical line, a big fat belly, and then you can give them a hat. Okay? So practice that number 5, because sometimes the number 5 gets a bit tricky. So it's a 1 and a 5 make the number 15. Now what do we need to do? We need to make our tens frame. I've showed you a few ways to make your tens frame. I'm going to make it the way I like to make it, which is a big rectangle, 4 vertical lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, bit sloppy today, and a long horizontal line across the middle. There it is. Okay, so now I'm ready to start making my counters. I always use red to draw my counters because that's what color counters are at school. But if you don't have a red crayon, that's okay. Use a pencil. Or if you have something small at home that you want to use instead, that would be a great idea. Okay, so let's make 15 counters. Whew, that's a lot. Well, first I need to make my 10 counters, and I know that I can do that by filling up my whole tens frame. So let me fill it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There, 10 counters in my tens frame. And now I'm going to continue on. I'm going to count on 11, 12. You know what? I should leave a little more space there. 12, 13, 14, 15. There's my 15 counters. Now let me remind you that there's two parts here. This is one part, my tens frame. And how many counters are in that tens frame? There's 10. So I'll write a little 10 there to remind myself. And this is the second part. How many counters are in the second part down here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll draw a little 5 here to remind myself that there's 5 there. I think I'm ready to make my number bond. When I make a number bond, I need 1 big circle at the top, 2 diagonal lines, and 2 circles at the bottom. And then I am ready to draw my numbers. Now, what number is my whole number today? My big number. I'll give you a minute to think about it. If you said 15, you are correct. That is my big number today, 15. That's my whole number. And what are my 2 parts? What are the parts of 15? Well, I actually drew them already right here for myself to remind myself. This was one of them, the number 10. And this was the other one, the number 5. 10, let me make that a little bigger. 10 and 5 are my 2 parts of 15. Okay, there we go. So 15 is 10 and 5. Now I can use those parts to make my number sentence. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. So let's see. 10, right here, 10 plus, I need to put these 2 numbers together, and I can do that by adding 10 plus this number. What's my other part? 5 is equal to, puppies come to say hi. Say hi. Is equal to my big number, my whole number, which is 15. There it is. Okay, let's read that number sentence together. Here we go. 10 plus 5 equals 15. Great work, boys and girls. You are learning a lot of things about number bonds and number sentences and tens frames and teen numbers. You should be very proud of yourself. Boys and girls, have a great day. Bye.